gone live, but today I decided to chat with my followers on live. Yeah, so we are going to talk about some few things. Mainly, we are talking about a tense fight between Niger and France. It was recently when the Nigerian general, I mean, most of you people, you call it Niger. So it was recently when a Nigerian general accused France of trying to orchestrate or trying to invade Niger. And you know, these remarks are not new from the Nigerian government, not only from Niger, but also her sister countries of Burkina Faso, Mali. So these countries all have been accusing France of trying to manipulate the young, trying to cause chaos in order to bring regime changes, to bring regimes that are loyal to France. And when they talk about these things, these are not new accusations. They are not new. And the reason why they are not new, France is one of the countries that is very angry at the Sahel countries. The reason for that is because the AES countries, after the coups, after the 2022 to 2023 coups, even in Mali 2021, after those coups, these coup leaders all chased out the French forces that were present on their land. So this made France very angry, and we see the reason of being uh, of these countries trying to point it every day. That's the major reason, and it makes sense because France is one of the countries that are not happy at all with these AES states. So remember, they chased the French forces from their land. The US forces also followed. And after that, they established a defense pact. They signed the defense pact, the Liptako-Goma Pact. And after, they formed an alliance, the Alliance of Sahel States. And this is the alliance that safeguards them, that says that an attack on one is an attack on all. This is the same alliance that deterred ECOWAS from invading Niger. ECOWAS is one of the old, it is in the old regimes, you know. It is fed with all the regimes that are in ECOWAS are these old people, you know, like the Ouattaras, the Bola Ahmed Tinubus, those people who don't want to leave power. So they normally call these leaders dictators, but the other ones are autocrats. They don't want to leave power for ordinary citizens. So ECOWAS threatened invasion of Niger in order to reinstall Muhammad Bazoum. General Abdurrahman Chiani came to power and removed Muhammad Bazoum. So the Bazoum's loyalists and ECOWAS friends tried to invade Niger in order to reinstall back Muhammad Bazoum because he was there daring. France was also not spared because France is one of the countries that benefited much from the AES countries. Remember, the AES is full of minerals. We can talk about uranium that is in Niger. Uranium is used to power nuclear energy. So France used to get cheap energy, cheap uranium from Niger. So this left France frustrated because the uranium they used to get, which was free and which was cheap, was lost after the coming of this General Abdurrahman Chiani. So you see where all the violence stems from. So the thing is that these people, after making an alliance of Sahel states, a defense pact, and their own alliance exiting from ECOWAS, this left other countries very stunned, very frustrated, because they wanted these people to still remain in the old era where they could be controlled very fast and very easily. So this is why you see a lot of tensions a lot of tensions. When I talk about tensions, I mean like the tensions between France and Niger today. So it was recently when the Nigerian president, General Abdurrahman Chiani, gave an interview. So in this interview, he pointed on the attack on Airbase 101 in Niamey. So what did he say? That the attack was jointly carried out by 10 GNI motorcycles, 10 from the Islamic State in the Sahel, those are the ICC, and 20 from the ISWAP fighters who came from the Nigerian states of Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, and Kebbi. The Nigerian president also retaliated his accusations against France, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, stating that these sponsors had paid 200 million CFA franc from preparations and 100 millions CFA franc to IC Sahel to claim the attack. He further stated that French President Emmanuel Macron had planned 7 other simultaneous attacks against Nigerian military positions in Tamau, Sai, Torodi, Tera, Bankilari, Walama, and others. So you see where all this fight stems from. The Nigerian president is accusing France, Ivory Coast, and Benin. You know, these are top 3 countries that have become a real problem in the Sahel. And the reason being is that these countries are trying by all means, the way they can, they are trying by all means, the way they can, to remove these 3 leaders. Their major target is Burkina Faso's president, Ibrahim Traore. And another one is Assimi Goïta. You have seen the blockade in Mali, which has taken for so many days. It was not for months, no, it was for days. To say that it was for months, that is according to Western media. But as Africans and the people who knows what is on the ground, and from inside sources, it was only for days. And the blockade was thwarted, and everything became to normal. And now fuel is flowing into Mali. And according to Western media, if we check on their media today, they are still saying that there is a blockade in Mali, even today. What does this show you guys? This shows that these people don't want us to go forward. And the reason is one. If Africans go, or if Africans start making some progress, then Europe, the Europeans will have to come to Africa to look for better ways of life, for jobs and everything. So this cannot surprise you. And the reason is that. So another thing we can see that Emmanuel Macron, actually, this was also stated by the Nigerian president, that Emmanuel Macron vowed that he will, for him to leave power, he must leave General Abdurrahman Chiani off. For this guy to leave power, for Emmanuel Macron's regime to end, they also must end the regime in Niger, because their major target is Chiani, because they don't love him. He stopped the flow of uranium, cheap uranium to them. So now they are feeling unease because they no longer access that cheap uranium they used to get for free. So what they do now, they buy it. Yeah, they buy it now at an expensive price. So that was also said. And all my followers, the people who are watching, thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us on this live. So there was also an accusation from the Nigerian general. He's called General Amadu Ibro. a close general to the Nigerian president, Kiani. He has called for what he described as preparation for war against France, accusing Paris of seeking to destabilize the country. Speaking before a large crowd, General Ibro stated that the mobilization had been declared in anticipation of a confrontation with France, adding that Niger was not at war but would now enter it, amid slogans hostile to France. For its part, the French Armed Forces General Staff quickly denied any intervention in Niger. Its spokesperson, Colonel Guillaume Vanet, stated that there is no intention of French intervention in Niger, describing these claims as information warfare aimed at inflaming tensions. The fact is that France has tried by all means to remove the leader of Niger. However much they always deny the claims, they say that the claims are inflammatory. France has been trying, it has been seeking always to remove General Abdurrahman Chiani in power. And the reason is clear, they still want influence and cheap raw materials from Niger. Now they are buying a lot of uranium from other countries. Orano, which used to hold large stakes in Niger, now no longer dictate any term, because now Orano, its license was revoked. Actually, it was revised, not revoked, in order to comply with the new mining codes of Niger. But Orano, because of their arrogance, and they still think that they are dictating our terms, so they decided to sue Niger into the International Courts of Justice. But nevertheless, the charges that were brought by that company, that French company, against Niger were dropped because they found that they were not actually making sense. Yeah. So this is what we are seeing as of today. These people are not comfortable at all. They are trying their all means in order to infiltrate Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. But let me give you a quick review. The Western countries are not good partners. One, you see what they are doing in Iran. The pressure they have put on Iran. Can you imagine a sovereign state dealing with its own matters, but they are pressuring it as if Iran belongs to Chicago, it is part of the US states. So these countries still want to control, because if they control, they access cheap raw materials. Their companies always flow to those countries and enjoy cheap raw materials and everything, you know. So this is what is happening as of today in Iran. So anytime from now, there might be an attack. But the only difference between Iran and these AES states is one. Iran is fighting at its own. But the countries of AES made it very clear. If you attack one, you attack all. So that means if you attack Niger, you're going to be you have attacked Burkina Faso, you have attacked Mali, you have even attacked other countries that are willing to join them. So this is the difference between Iran and the AES states. That's what I can tell you one. Yeah. So we are still seeing some developments. You see what they did in Venezuela. Guys, these people are not easy. You saw what they did in Venezuela. How can you kidnap a foreign head of state? A sitting president, you kidnap him? Does that really make sense? What if you're the one kidnapped from your own country? So these people, their evil is not actually hidden. It is in front. So that's why they are trying to do to the Sahel. they are trying to do to the Sahel. But the only thing that makes sense is one, the Sahel leaders are very, very determined. They are very determined because they are soldiers. These people are soldiers, so you cannot intimidate them, you cannot scare them, you cannot do anything against them, and you think that you're doing something that is great. No, these are leaders, and the leaders who already fought, so they know wars. They know what they call war. Even if you intimidate them, even if you threaten, you do what? No way. As long as they say that this, they cannot change their mind. That's the only difference between the Sahel leaders and Iran they are threatening. By the way, Iran is one of the strongest countries in the Middle East. I have seen Arab states tremble. If the US try to intimidate them, you see them trembling, you know. These Arab states are not good friends, actually. That's what I can say. You cannot rely on them because if you rely on them, definitely you will lose everything. But Iran has stood on its own. I'm a strong supporter of Russia, but I don't know why Russia is always jumping on Iran. I don't know why. That also makes me scared because if they try to attack the AES countries, Russia will also go silent. It also shows something. This Russia is one of the best friends with Iran, but I don't know why it is always escaping, trying to dodge, you know? So that one also makes me feel like Russia is not a good partner in for like in times of wars where you need it most, you know. It makes me feel unsecured. But I know if any attack happens, I know these countries of the AES are very strong. They can do whatever they can to safeguard their sovereignty. Remember, Ibrahim Traore talked about the Black Winter. So he was not lying. The Black Winter is coming. And what is that Black Winter? It is the countries that are planning to invade these countries of the AES. And you already know. Those are European countries in coordination with African countries, mainly these countries that are close to them, Nigeria, Guinea. Sorry, actually, Guinea is silent, but Nigeria, Benin, Cote d'Ivoire, and Nigeria, Benin, and Cote d'Ivoire, because they are easily manipulated by France. The leaders of these countries, you cannot imagine the way they are manipulated by France. Oh my God, you can't imagine why. So that is it, and we are still continuing to follow the developments. Anytime whatever happens, of course, we have to inform you. We have to tell you what is on ground and what is going on. Yeah, but let's hope for the best for these countries. Uh, I know the fight still rages on because the evil countries are not. Uh, they are not quiet. They are still planning always in order to remove these leaders from their seat. But the whole of Africa is behind Ibrahim Traore, is behind General Abdulrahman Chiani, is behind Maliza Simigoita. The whole world, even if they say that they mobilize people from different countries to go and fight for their war, really people can show up, and a lot of people can show up because the way these leaders have inspired not only Africans, people in Latin America, Russians, Asians, and everyone who is feeling like he's oppressed, you know, is behind these leaders. So actually, you cannot even imagine that even the fight can be joined by outside by whites. Yeah, it can because it is possible because there is a lot of Traore royalists across the world, not only in Africa, but across the world. Otherwise, thank you for being with us. Yeah, that was today. That's what we wanted to talk about today. Let's meet another day.